Hello again from Eastern Neston and welcome to Junior Kickstart. And behind me you can see 36 young riders who are arguably the finest young motorcyclists in Britain today. Well, they've already seen the course that they've got to ride. It looks tough to me. What do you think of it, lads? Horrible. Horrible, all right. Well, let's see you. Off you go for a bit of practice. So as the riders go off to get themselves fully kitted up, helmets and gloves, I'll bring in my co-commentator from Florida, Jack Stites. Well, Jack, we've had a tremendous amount of rain here the past couple of days. The course looks almost impossible to me.
The course is not impossible. It'll be very difficult. The ground is saturated with mud. It'll cause a lot of trouble.
What about the obstacles themselves? I mean, we've got a couple of obstacles that the adults were riding over just a few months ago.
Yeah, we sure do. But the biggest problem is going to be the mud itself. The riders need a lot of aggression today, and it's the ability to turn off the aggression, I think, will be the problem for them.
So it's sure but careful.
Right, exactly.
So then, let's get over to the start line, the senior division, Heat 1. First to go then, Roger Higgs, age 14, from Camberley. Then Wayne Braybrook from Haworth in Yorkshire, he's 14. James Boggis from Worksop in Notts, he's 13. Jeff Wright from Rayleigh in Essex, he's also 13. Julian Ingham from Ramsbottom near Bury, he's 14. And Paul Edmondson, the oldest in this heat, 15, from Chasetown in the Midlands. So this lad then, Roger Higgs, aged 14, from Camberley, has the task of setting off and setting the standard for the 1984 Lombard Tristide Junior Kickstart Championship. And what a difficult course and a difficult task he's got. The ground very heavy with clay, as Jack Stites was saying earlier. That's going to be the big problem, but already he's into a 20-second penalty here on the Dragon's Teeth. Now this is a foot-up section. It's a compulsory route, but they can tackle it in any way they wish, and he's okay. So he's clear through that section. And now another compulsory route, gates to go through, and very awkward little manoeuvres over a particularly muddy bank. And you can see how wet, greasy, and foot down there, so we have 20 on that. And now into a section called the log fan, and this is possibly the hardest section on the course. This competition, oh, he tried to fly it and failed. He's got a penalty there for actually touching the white sections and foot down as well, but he nearly flew it. He was very unlucky. But he's through that nicely. It's all right, feet down in between sections, and now he comes to a balanced section. As we said, a very difficult course. No penalty yet because he's not in the section, but he is now. Failed to stop, and he's making a little bit of a mess of this, but it is hard. I'll bring Jack Stites in for a comment at the end of this round, but so far he's not having a wonderful time. Roger Higgs from Camberley. Balance pole across there, and he's coming into the finish. His finishing time then 115.6 plus 80, and that makes 195.6. So the second lad to go comes from a beautiful part of the country, Haworth in Yorkshire. This is Wayne Braybrook, who's 14. Well, Jack, you've seen one rider through the course. It really is bad, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is, and they have to use a lot bigger gears than they want. Most of them are having to use third gear most of the time. In a lot of spots, you know, they'll just, either the tire will be spinning or all of a sudden they'll have too much speed.
This is one section, of course, which we used in the adult Kickstart.
As you see, they're making a loop there. The reason is they can't get enough speed around that first turn to be able to go on the off camber. So, of course, with that approach, you can go right up through there.
And surprisingly, after all the rain we've had, the sun has come out, and possibly it'll dry that bank and make it more rideable as the competition continues. I should explain, of course, that this junior kickstart is in 3 heats. There are 3 senior heats and 3 junior heats. Each heat produces 2 finalists. Consequently, we end up with both the senior and the junior final. This is the very first senior kickstart heat, and he tried to fly it and he got away with it. He's just out through the gate. I didn't see a flag. The marshal is nearest to us there. The marshal is provided by the Youth Motorcycle Sports Association, and he didn't get a penalty.
Well, that is one way to approach that, isn't it? I mean, just don't touch it.
Well, we have seen all these youngsters have a go practicing. His foot's down there, so he's got a 20 on that. That is a balance section where they're supposed to stop and get a whistle to go, but he failed on the section anyway. But the whole of these sections are now foot up. It's a good time he's putting in. He's certainly going to be faster than Roger Higgs, and I make it with only 20 penalties against him, which is remarkably good. 104.9 plus 20 makes 124.9. Very good time indeed. This is James Boggis from Worksop in Nottinghamshire. He's 13 years old. He's been here in Kickstart before. In fact, he was runner-up in the junior section in 1982. So now he's graduated to the seniors. Let's see what he can do. And straight off there, so he takes 20, but having fallen off there, he now has to still go over each of the dragon's teeth, which he's done.
All right. When he's approaching here, if he can get a wider approach, he can shut off that corner right there. Beautiful, and he should be able to go straight across. Oh, yes,
and
very well.
that's how it should be ridden. Out of the section now, and he's clear on that. Pity he failed with the dragon's teeth, because he's riding with a great deal of control.
When he's going through here, he's using probably 3rd gear and a lot of clutch. So when he hits this hill, he can get a lot of speed and right up through.
All right, let's see how he manages with the log fan. They're all trying it the same way to fly it. And he, well, I thought he touched the white. Yes, there's the flag, so it's 20 against him there. Little unfortunate.
But the approach on this is very hard. They've got to get on balance, but they're slipping right going to it.
Well, I would have thought the flag now. I didn't see him stop, and I didn't hear a whistle. But we'll have to check on that. It's clear so far, apparently. That's way up, 8 feet above a big dip, but he's cleared that nicely. Fast over the ground then. 92.8 plus 60 makes 152.8.